derail Arsenal's season. They have now reached a century of different injuries since the start of the 2024-25 season. Ben White's withdrawal in the first half against Wolves brought up that 100. Second placed on the list, that is Brighton, with 97 injuries, with Arsenal's North London rivals Spurs sitting third on 90. Is this a problem? Is this a major problem for Arsenal? Could it cost them the title, Dan, do you think?
Well, I think looking in the past, I think it's cost Liverpool the title when the season Van Dijk got injured. They didn't have any defenders. I think it cost Man City last year when a lot of their defenders were injured and they couldn't really put a back four out consecutively. I think with Arsenal this year, look, they have had injuries, yes, but they're in probably a 3-4 year cycle where they've actually built a squad capable of sustaining that. So, yes, Gabriel and Saliba have been injured. They have the two boys come in Nketiah, Mosquera. Yeah, they're not probably at the level yet, but they're still really, really good players. I think they've got two in every position. I think confidence-wise, if you look at the team and you don't have Gabriel and Saliba in it, yes, it can have an effect on you. It can probably lift the other team up when the team sheets come in the dressing room an hour and a half before the game and you see your first choice centre-half's not in it, you can get a bit of a boost. So, yeah, there is a part to play. I do think Arsenal can cope. I think they have the squad to do so. But it also depends on who actually is the ones getting injured.
Do you think he'll try to make moves in January just to bolster what everyone says is the best squad around a little bit further, given these injuries?
In what position? That's the key thing. I think they're covered, they're well stocked. There's probably no room for a striker. They've got Gabi Jesus back now. Kai Havertz will be on his way back. I don't know in what capacity he's in. I don't know where you add to that squad. I mean, I know there's going to be a few attackers available, and one, Antoine Semenyo, who arguably gets in most Premier League teams. I mean, he's a fantastic player, great athlete, so he will be available, but yeah, I don't know where Arsenal actually look to be honest.
Feels like there would have to be outgoings at Arsenal before they decided to add, or if they've got a long-term target in mind that they can bring forward to now. It's all depending on how budgets shape up for January.
Yeah. Just before we move on to Villa and Manchester City, final thought on Arsenal. I mean, they're still top of the table. They've set the standards for the early months of the season. And it's only a few weeks ago that I was sat here on Soccer Special and the guys were saying it's their title to lose. So I'm interested in the psychology of those Arsenal players right now, given the near misses of recent seasons, with Villa and City now breathing down their necks. How are they feeling right now?
They'll be confident. Like you say, they're top of the league. They've performed in every game, and the Champions League, they're top of the Champions League as well, by the way. So they're one of the strongest teams in world football right now, and they'll feel that. They'll feel that the pressure is on them to win. I think it's their time. That's the sense, what they'll feel in the dressing room. I believe that. But yeah, City aren't going to make it easy, and also Aston Villa as well. They're thereabouts. So I don't see Villa challenging Arsenal in the long run. But City will be, and it's going to be a great title race.
Certainly is. I mean, Aston Villa, Dave, we must have been doing Premier League shows in the early weeks of the season when they didn't win in the first 5 games, didn't win a game until the end of September. Everyone was scratching their heads going, what's going on with Villa and Emery? What a turnaround.
Yeah, they didn't score a goal either till the back end of September. It has been a remarkable turnaround. There was the game against Sunderland where Unai Emery, after that game, described his players as lazy. I think following that remark, I think he thought he maybe went a little bit too far with that. But there has been a response from the side, and they've slowly worked their way into this position. I don't think after that Sunderland game they absolutely started hitting top form. It's been a slowly developing train, if you like. And then they had the victory at Brighton, and they're following that up. I think it's 9 in a row now in all competitions, and it's been a terrific run of results for Unai Emery and Aston Villa. And who's to say they're not in the title race? Maybe if it was Chelsea and Villa's position, everybody would be saying, well, this is going to be a 3-way title race. But because it's Aston Villa, maybe people are saying it's a 2-way title race. But why count them out at this stage?
And maybe they don't mind if people are writing them off as well. Who knows? And I'd love to know what it's like working with Unai Emery. I mean, he just seems to have a knack of getting the best out of players. You know, and one of those in particular, Dan, is Morgan Rogers. What a rise for him in the last couple of years. The strides he's taken under Emery.
Yeah, Unai Emery is a fantastic coach, fantastic manager. I've heard his attention to detail is amazing. His meetings are amazing. And it's probably all that analysis is helping Morgan Rogers to improve. And he himself has taken his game to the next level, because he went on loan to Bournemouth a few years ago and he didn't play at all. It didn't quite work out. And I don't think anyone in that club would have saw the rise. I don't think Manchester City would have saw the rise, because they certainly wouldn't have let him go. But yeah, he's helped himself for sure, and he's looking like he's one of the first names on that plane in the World Cup.
But you also look at the change in his season as well. Earlier this season, Morgan Rogers was jeered by his own supporters when he was really struggling to find even a successful pass in a game. And you look at the turnaround to now, where he's finding his feet, goals and assists, and everyone's talking about him starting in the World Cup over Jude Bellingham. It's absolute chalk and cheese from the start of the season to now, and that is almost the kind of personification of Villa's turnaround this season.
Oh, the fickle world of football, eh?
Yeah.
Manchester City, what's that song that goes, what's that coming over the hill? Can you see them going on a run like they've done in the last few years? In fact, you and I were sat down over there before we came on air looking at 2023-24 and the unbelievable run they went on, which started around about this time, didn't it?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I think they lost the last game of the season, which was a cup final in that year, possibly. Yeah, we know City have done it twice previously. We haven't seen Arsenal do it yet. I believe Arsenal are capable of doing something like that. But Manchester City are proven that they've been there, they've done it. Erling Haaland is scoring goals for fun. Phil Foden is getting back to his best. Jeremy Doku's having the best season of his time at Manchester City so far. And they've got, bar one or two, a fully fit squad. Rodri is probably the key miss that actually no one's talking about that much anymore. And that's testament to Pep and Nico Gonzalez, who has actually stepped up and started to perform week in, week out. His confidence is growing. The way he's sort of filled Rodri's boots is, for me, this is not the calibre of Rodri yet. He's still young. And as soon as Rodri comes back, it's going to lift City even more. So, yeah, City will be coming over that hill.
Yeah, and they've won 5 in a row in all competitions, scoring 16 goals in the process. Tonight they're in action in the EFL Cup quarter-finals against Brentford. Let's head to the Etihad. Vinny O'Connor is there and can bring us all the team news. Hi again, Vinny.
Yeah, I think we expected...
Right, let's get to Tottenham Hotspur now. It has been a mixed start for Thomas Frank, hasn't it, since he arrived in the summer. I say Carve's with Dan and myself in the studio. Carve, what's the view? Everyone's got an opinion on Frank and the job he's doing at Spurs. What's the view inside the club on how he's getting on?
Look, I think there have been lots of changes at Spurs. Daniel Levy went in the summer as well. There's new executives in the club, and they're going to continue backing Thomas Frank. They realise there is no quick fix. Players like Harry Kane have gone, Son have gone as well. He's had to contend with a lot of injuries this season. But it is really worrying times for Spurs fans. A lot of Spurs fans I know are feeling disillusioned, disenchanted. When they watch their side, they want to be excited. Even if the side don't always win, they want to see Spurs play like Spurs. And that is not what they're seeing at the moment, especially in games, for instance, big derbies against Chelsea, the North London derby against Arsenal. Even in the old days, when Spurs didn't have particularly good sides, when it was a big game like that, their players used to turn up. The players are just not turning up for those kind of big games at the moment. The performances have been limp, timid. There seems to be a disconnect between the players and the supporters as well. And a lot of the supporters I speak to at the moment are saying they're not sure if Thomas Frank is the right man to be the Spurs manager. But the view from inside the club is he is, and he needs to be given more time.
What do you think, Dan? From what you've seen so far, is he the right man for Spurs?
Look, going off his Premier League achievements and record at Brentford, then yes, he's a fantastic manager. That's why he got the job in the first place. Yes, it hasn't worked out as well as probably everyone hoped as yet, but like Carve said, they've had injuries. Kulusevski's a big loss. Just to change it up with Kudos a little bit, he's played a lot. Dominic Solanke, they spent big money on him and he's been injured all season. So there's 2 big players that they're missing. Yes, there's probably a little bit of discontent with the fans and maybe a few players. Obviously, you see a couple of weeks ago, a couple of players walked past Thomas Frank. I don't want to read too much into it. I don't think there was too much into it, but there is something there that's not sitting right, and there's not It's not 100% camaraderie between players, manager, fans right now. But we know how quickly it can change, and a few wins can do that. I think obviously results against Arsenal can really help, and it didn't quite manage to do it. But yeah, a couple back-to-back wins in the Premier League can creep you up the table, like I said earlier. But yeah, it's not all rosy at Spurs yet.
Yeah, because in the last few months, I mean, they've been losing more games than they've been winning. And actually, if you look at in their last 11 games, in 9 of those games, their XG, their expected goals, was less than 1. Is the way the team's been playing in some ways as big an issue as the results?
That's probably it. You want Tottenham to be on the front foot, especially home games. And I watched a few of their games, and especially a few weeks ago against Chelsea, there was nothing there. They're the games that you want to get up for. They're too easy to get beat. They're not. They don't want to go forward with numbers and put a cross in the box. There's no one attacking the ball. They don't have a clinical striker. That's the problem. I think when you look at goals like that, which kind of sums where they are at the moment, which doesn't help. You go behind and then it's an uphill battle. Forest are obviously good at home. Their form this year has been a bit indifferent, but yeah, Tottenham need to get on the front foot. They've got good players, fast players, attacking talent, and they need to start showing it more.
They've got 22 points from 16 games, which is actually one less than they had at this stage under Ange Postecoglou last season. It's the lowest they've had at this stage of a Premier League season since 2008. You said the club are behind him still, Carve. Do you feel January is going to be important for Spurs?
I think it will be, but I think it's going to take more than just one window to address the problems that Thomas Frank has with his squad. I was speaking to our Tottenham reporter, Michael Bridge, yesterday, and he's on his sickbed at the moment.
Get well soon, Michael.
Yeah, he feels terrible. He's been off work for a few days.
Nothing to do with Spurs, obviously.
Well, that's what I said to him. I said, God, is this to do with Tottenham or have you got the flu? But look, when he starts talking about Tottenham, he sort of, the energy comes back to him and he was starting to feel better and be a lot more passionate. But he was saying to me, look, the problem is, at the end of the day, we've got an average squad. We don't have the kind of players that we used to have in the past. The Klinsmans, the Sheringhams, the Sons or the Kanes. And he also said the big problem is that we missed out on signing Morgan Gibbs-White in the summer. Look what he did to Spurs at the weekend playing for Forest. They also missed out on signing Eberechi Eze. And the big miss for them, I think, this season has been James Maddison, who looks like he's going to be out for the whole season. And another point he made is the situation surrounding the goalkeeper, Vicario, because last January they brought in Kinski. He was supposed to be one for the future. He was supposed to challenge for the #1 spot as well. For whatever reason, Ange Postecoglou and Thomas Frank haven't really trusted him because perhaps he's too young. So do they need to look again at that goalkeeping position? I think if they do, that's one they'll probably address next summer rather than in January.
OK.